There was one moment when I was lying on the floor of the cell, handcuffs and leg irons, with a drip in, and the drip bottle on a rusty nail shoved into the wall up there above me, on the floor of this cell. And I'm screaming because the needle slipped in here. So now it's not going in properly, and my arm is just swelling and swelling up.
Fluid.
Yeah. And I can't get, and I know there's a camera there and with a microphone, and I'm screaming and nobody comes. And I thought, I think I must have hit the bottom here. I think, this is bad. I am really in trouble here. It was just like a sort of,
How are you keeping it together mentally? I mean, 4 years of incarceration, not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me about that, and you've got no choice. And what are you going to do? Freak out? Start crying? No one's going to come. No one's going to hear. You might make yourself go mad, but then on the other hand, going mad is one of the things that you're really frightened of. Because death is one thing, And, you might get a bullet, you wouldn't even feel anything. But going mad would be a horrible thing, because you might be kind of semi-aware that you are going a bit mad.
That was something you were in
and
fear
you're
of.
very scared of that.
Okay.
Going mad is very scary, I think. And in fact, back in Chikurubi, my fellow prisoners said, look, Shumba, you're talking to yourself at night. We can hear you talking to yourself. I said, yeah. They said, no, you mustn't do that. That's not good. And so I thought about it very consciously, and I thought, well, if I stop, will that really be better? And so I thought, I'll do this, but I'll do it carefully. I'll keep an eye on myself.
Because they thought talking to yourself leads to madness.
Well, yeah, I suppose it's the old joke. But some of the prisoners definitely thought this was not a good idea.
They've recently sent El Chapo to this maximum security prison called ADX in Colorado. And apparently it is the most extreme solitary confinement there is. Mm-hmm. It's 23 hours in a cell, 1 hour outside in like a little cage. You have no contact with anyone, and it's all concrete in your cell. And apparently it's been described as, hell on earth. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people there go mad. They cut their fingers off, they cut their testicles off, it's just...
How do they do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I wasn't allowed, I didn't get out of the cell at all in 24 hours. There was no exit.
And you're in leg irons.
Yeah, but that came off after my trial.
Okay. Handcuffs
and leg irons came off.
And so now they put you to trial, and what are they trying to do here, and what ends up happening?
Well, so my interrogation took like 3 months. And there were some quite funny incidents. So I was actually interrogated by the Attorney General of the country and General Manuel, the head of security. And I quickly realized that there was a catfight going on between the two of them, because they would never see me unless they were both there, which obviously is overkill. And I then realized after a few days of this that I was having a conversation with the president, except that they were the messengers. I was like Sherazade. I just had to tell the right story, So each morning they'd have a little list of pregunta, Spanish question. And it obviously had come from the president. And they'd obviously, every evening they were going to the palace, which in good Spanish tradition is just next door to the prison. And, they'd got the answers of the day. And the president, they had a little good old dinner, probably. And they work out the questions for tomorrow. So I was actually having this conversation with the president except through these guys. And quite early on, I said, now look, you say you're going to try and help me, and I'm going to do my best to help you. And they never made any promises. It was quite cleverly done, And I said, but look, I want to get out of here, and my enemies are your enemies. He said, yes. I said, well, I want a lawyer in here who's going to do a deal with you to say that if I give you the information you want, that you're going to let me go. I said, man, we do not negotiate with terrorists. And I laughed. And they said, why is that funny? I said, it's funny because I was an intelligence officer in Northern Ireland, and I know that we always negotiate with terrorists. Everywhere in the world, we end up negotiating with the terrorists. So it's funny.
What did they say to that?
Yeah, well, no, they didn't think it was that funny. And then...
But you're having a sense of humor, that's a good sign.
Well, and it was the whole thing was hilarious. So on the first day, some Coca-Colas and a sandwich, and I can see they're sort of, where's lunch? Anyway, by the time my interrogation's finished, lunch is this huge feast that's been brought in from the general owns this hotel, and we have wine.
You too?
Yes, because the Spanish culture, they're very kind of, it's mixed with their African culture. And they just obviously can't, they sort of said, oh, well, we're going to have wine. It's lunch. You better have some too. So I'm sitting there, handcuffed, going, very nice. Absolutely hilarious. But so I then realised that what they want to know, quite quickly realised, what they want to know is they figured out the palace coup. They want to know who was going to do the palace coup. Who are the traitors? Because they're still in the palace, right? That's who they want to know. And as this realization dawns on me, I realize that that's my ticket home. Except I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know who they are. So the vital piece of information that they spent $80 million to get me for, and, I actually don't have it. So after a while, I convinced them that I don't have that information. And I said, but then I think we can work it out. And they said, what do you mean? And I said, I spent a year with Eli Khalil and the other people involved in this. From when they recruited me to when I was arrested. It was a year. There have to be mistakes. They've concealed from me the vital information. They've concealed who the people in the palace are, what the structure is. Because the only people I met was Eli Khalil and this one, that one. They must have made mistakes.